Roger Stone, a criminal who was pardoned by Donald Trump, is now out pushing all sorts of insane conspiracy theories. He is fear-mongering about the outcome of the general election and is pushing this false narrative that the left is going to refuse to accept Trump's win and that the right needs to be prepared for that. Now, keep in mind, Trump is the one who's been spreading conspiracy theories about voter fraud that doesn't exist. He's the one who's also dismantling the post office, so people will have a difficult time voting by mail. And the right is certainly what we should be considering when it comes to the outcome of this election and whether they might be rigging it. But nonetheless, he encouraged federal authorities to seize ballots in Nevada. Take a listen.
I don't want to overplay the facts here, but if someone will study the president's authority in the Insurrection Act and in his ability to impose martial law, if there's widespread treating, he will have the authority to arrest Zuckerberg, to arrest Tim Cook, to arrest the Clintons, to arrest anybody else who can be proven to be involved in illegal activity.
Okay, so in that video, he was actually promoting the idea of Trump using martial law. And then let's get to the Nevada ballots video next, because that's where he talks about voter fraud and how the left is trying to rig the election. Again, no evidence of this whatsoever, but these are the types of conspiracy theories that Trump listens to and certainly pushes.
The ballots in Nevada on election night should be seized by federal marshals and taken from the state. They are completely corrupted. No votes should be counted from the state of Nevada if that turns out to be the provable case. We can prove voter fraud in the absentees right now. Send federal marshals to the Clark County Board of Elections, Mr. President. It's all there. The votes from Nevada should not be counted. They are already flooded with illegals.
Cenk.
Yeah. So the only upside of Roger Stone is he's the one that comes closest to just saying it. And this is almost there, where he's saying, look, we know, and if you haven't seen the numbers, the part of the reason why the Democrats are buoyant is because the number of people that are requesting mail-in ballots are overwhelmingly people who are registered as Democrats as opposed to people who are registered as Republicans. At the end of the day, there's no way of knowing who they're going to vote for, but that's a pretty good indicator. So based on that, it looks like, and the Republicans see the same exact numbers, that's why they're freaking out about mail-in ballots. That's why Trump is saying, don't count whatever you do, the mail-in ballots are all gonna be fraudulent. Because Democrats in the swing states are asking for those at 3-to-1 rates, the Republicans are toast. So the idea here is they're gonna try to push everybody to vote on day of. Then they're gonna say, not only don't count the rest of the ballots, but now Roger Stone is flat out saying, just seize the ballots so no one can count them. And that's as close to an admission that we're just gonna do a fascist takeover of the country as anyone could possibly do. So if I thought the Democrats, if I thought the Republicans were going to rig an election, would I say we should grab the ballots and do whatever we want with them? No, under no circumstances would I say that. I would want an independent body to get the ballots and make sure that there's no fraud and that they're counted properly. That's not what Roger Stone is saying. Make sure the federal government grabs state records, state votes, so they cannot be counted. You'll have to just trust Donald Trump that he won. And then at that point, we start arresting anyone who disagrees, which is as close as you'll get to an admission that we're gonna do martial law and we're the fascists and we're here. And if we don't win this election, it doesn't matter. We're gonna say we won the election and we're gonna do all these things. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to, by the way. That's Roger Stone cheerleading for it. Donald Trump has set up the first part of that. It's still my belief and hope that he's gonna get blown out under any and all circumstances, and they're not going to be able to put this into effect. But if the election is anywhere near close, oh boy, they're gonna go for a full fascist takeover.
Well, Roger Stone wants to encourage a multi-pronged approach here, Cenk. So not only does he want to confiscate ballots, specifically in Clark County, an area that does lean, Democratic. He also is calling on Republican officials and the FBI to physically block voters from being able to vote. Listen.
The president should call former Congressman Bob Barr, and he should ask him, he should appoint him a special counsel. He should order his appointment as a special counsel with the specific task of forming an election day operation using the FBI, federal marshals, and Republican state officials across the country to be prepared to file legal objections and, if necessary, to physically stand in the way of criminal activity.
I mean, and by the way, in addition to that, I should note, we've covered this story before, Republicans are planning on sending what they're referring to as poll watchers, off-duty law enforcement that's planning on showing up to pretend like they're going to try to prevent voter fraud, a problem that doesn't actually exist, when in reality it's about intimidating voters, and this is something that the Supreme Court had ruled on decades ago because they recognized that the Republican Party was using this tactic to manipulate and intimidate voters. And unfortunately, that law has expired, and now Republicans are planning on implementing this type of strategy again. And so it really is a multi-pronged approach. I mean, I love your optimism, Cenk, but I don't know how you stay so optimistic. Everything that Trump has threatened to do, he has done, with the exception of actually building the wall on the southern border.
I'm not at all optimistic about what Trump or Roger Stone would do. If Roger Stone had the opportunity, he'd end democracy so quick, make your head spin. He wouldn't hesitate for 1 second. I'm under no illusions. He went on to talk about how Trump should use martial law or the Insurrection Act to carry out widespread arrests. He talked about nationalizing the state police forces. If you're a conservative, the idea of the federal government nationalizing local government's policing powers is absurd. It'd be the number one thing you'd be opposed to on principle. But we're gonna do fascism and we're not gonna do democracy anymore? Yes, great. Then let's nationalize the state police, take away all local rights, end the blue states' ability to control themselves, end fair elections, steal the votes from Nevada. Who cares? Win, 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 power. Might makes right. It's fascism 101. That's who Roger Stone is. I'm not optimistic that they're gonna change their stripes at all. I'm not at all optimistic that Trump wouldn't try all of that if he's within 3 or 4 points. Right now, he's not. That's all I'm saying. And the polling is not wrong. He's down by 10. And so he's not down by 10 swing states. And you should not, under any circumstances, relax. You should vote, whatever you do, make sure that you vote. Don't do like 2016, don't worry about it, we're gonna win anyway. That's the message the idiots on Hillary Clinton's team and the mainstream media told you. We already won, who cares? No, they're the morons who cost us this election. Having said that, don't panic and think, oh my God, we got it wrong last time, let's jump off a cliff right now. No. Let's go vote, and then let's make sure that that vote is enforced. And on that count, by all means,